can ask question?
No. If they have, they would have come and started.
So, excuse.
If somebody had a question, they would have come and started.
Go
ahead.
Yeah. Okay, I have question concerning death. I knew that your wife died, and for me, when I was first came to Osho, and I saw celebration of death, and in some traditions it's a very sad event, the death of a person. Huh?
Also.
In Osho, yes, they celebrate death. If for me it was a shock when I saw for the first time. It was 10 years ago. Someone died, Osho Sannyasin, and they were celebrating. And because in my tradition, in my country, when someone dies, they cry and they mourn.
In your tradition?
Yes, in Russia.
And you think the rest of the nation, they laugh?
There is a tradition that if someone dies, the family...
No, the crying happens.
Yeah.
The crying happens.
Yes.
Crying happens.
Yes.
And the crying, the tears, are both for joy and misery.
Yeah. That is why my question is, what is the death for you, and what happens after death, and is it possible to prepare to death? Is it the possibility to die right or to die wrong? This is my question.
Look, you step on a cockroach, the cockroach is dead. There is no question whether the cockroach was a good cockroach or a bad cockroach.
Yeah.
The river meets the ocean. There is no question whether the river was a good river, pure river, or impure river. And the really important point about this is, who can speak about death with authority? Death means a death. Therefore, there is no question of any answer to the question being right or correct. Nobody knows. Therefore, it can only be, the answer can only be a concept. Death means the end of life. Death means the end of the misery of death, of life. End of the miseries of life. How many people on their deathbed would really like to continue living? Nobody would want to continue, except perhaps a millionaire. Otherwise, as far as the living are concerned, is the end of living. And how many people do you think are really happy to live?
isn't it?
But even the millionaire has to suffer illness and pain. Millionaire may enjoy much more than, but nobody can guarantee him good health throughout life. And the very basis of living, the duality, means together with the, whatever enjoyment he enjoys with money, there's bound to be by the nature of duality. Misery. So as far as I can see, very clearly, assuming that no one really knows the experience of this. Whatever anybody says about that is a concept.
I studied Tibetan yoga, and the Tibetans, they wrote this Tibetan Book of the Dead, and they say that Tibetan lamas, they...
Life after life after life. On what authority?
I don't know.
That's my point.
Yes, I know.
It's their concept. The Tibetan lamas have their own concepts. And why is there a theory about that? Because this theory gives support to the theory that life continues. Life continues all the time, which is a fact. Life does continue because there has been life and death for hundreds of years. My only point is that, but who has the continuation? The ego, when the body is dead, the ego is dead. The only point they say is that don't be a bad boy. Always try to do good things. So that theory, this is the basis. And that is quite a strong basis. Why? Because it appeals to the mind. It appeals to the mind. So it's the concept, one or the other. For me, the concept that appeals to me is the end of everything. And therefore the end of both pleasure and misery. And my point is that anyone who would want to live without the duality of life, nobody would like to live with the duality of life.
The Tibetans, they have this system of reincarnation, like Dalai Lamas, for instance. They say that it's a proof that the consciousness goes on reincarnating.
Where is the proof?
Dalai Lama?
What is the... Can Dalai Lama say in his previous life he continuously did something? Of course he can. Of course he can. But as another separate ego. not the present Dalai Lama. That is not. Every new birth has a new ego. That is. Therefore, who is concerned with reincarnation? The ego is concerned. Ego is concerned. Why? He may say, I have so many good things in my life. I want return for it. It's as if he has lent money to God and he expects God to repay the money. Reincarnation, the way I look at it is, you expect reincarnation. Whoever expects reincarnation expects that he has done many good things. And therefore, he may be rewarded in this life. But in that expectation, he forgets the bad things he's done. But because he believes in reincarnation, is it in his hands to do good things in this life? I know I must do good things, I must be a good boy. All right, I accept it, I know it. But is it in my control to do good things all the time? In fact, the point, what is our experience? Our experience has always been, I can only decide to do certain things. I decide to do a good thing, bad thing may happen. Therefore, what is in our control is not really doing things, but to decide to do it. But everybody is experiencing, having decided to do a bad thing, to murder somebody. Murder doesn't happen. All that we can do is decide to do something. So between decision and the actual action, he has no control. Therefore, why bother with things that happen? In other words, I decide to do something, not in my control to do it. I decide to do a bad thing, even that bad thing may not happen. Therefore what? Therefore what? Aristotle, therefore what? Therefore, let life happen. Why bother with who is doing it and what should be the result of it? Isn't it a coincidence that the last 3 talks that have been given were based on that?
Yeah.
Isn't that a
Last 3
coincidence?
days has
I didn't choose. I don't choose the what I talk about. I don't choose the way I talk about it. Everything just happens.